All right, we're making cheesesteaks at home. I'm going to show you guys step by step by what I do. This is actually going to be the recipe that I use for the food truck slamming sandwiches. Obviously, we're not going to be getting the stuff at Kroger, but this is beef shaved ribeye. So I don't have a slicer at home. And then we're going to use white American, 2 onions, and just some salt, pepper, garlic. Let's get to it. I'm stupid and I forgot to make the video of me making the cheese whiz. So I'll just have to make a video of me making the cheese whiz next time I make them at home. But anyways, this is going to be a 1/4 pound of cheddar, a 1/4 pound of smoked Gouda. Make sure it's smoked, not regular Gouda. A 1/4 pound of Havarti and a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Mixed together, that's going to be your cheese sauce. Cheese whiz, sorry. We're going to make sure we cut the tops off and leave the root on. Cut it in half. That's going to make it much easier to take those skins off. Alright. Now, I'm always recording on my phone, so I apologize. But this is what I got. This is what I do. So I'm going to go in diagonally like this and slowly move the angle up as I go around the onion. And I don't want it to be thin at all. I want it to be big sections. I don't want them to be huge dices, but I don't want them to be like a dice that you would put on a burger if you were consuming them raw, right? So this is going to be a cheesesteak, so we want the dices to be a little bit bigger because they are going to shrink as we cook these onions down. And the bigger the onion on the cheesesteak, I think it just looks better. Also with, the combination of the finely shredded meat and the cheeses, you're not going to taste as much onion as you think. It's kind of like the same concept as the smash burgers where they smash the thinly sliced onions into it. Obviously, this is just a different the different chopped onion that we're going to use. And then your dices should, they should look about like this. Just a nice rough dice. This part is really optional. You can really use whatever you want, but I prefer a really good olive oil. The best way you can tell if your olive oil is actually real and pure olive oil is stick it in the freezer. If it doesn't freeze, it's real olive oil. But this is the brand that I use. If you guys want to check it out, it's really good. It's not too expensive, I wouldn't say. I think this bottle is like $11, and it's pretty big, 34 ounces. Now, this part is also optional, as I've been doing a lot of cheesesteak research lately, trying to make sure that I have a good recipe. But from what I can tell, one of the most popular, I forget the names, they put paprika on their onions. So that's what we're going to do. All right. And you see, once we start getting a little bit of color on them, color on the edges and stuff like that, you start to smell them really good, that's when we're going to take them off. We're going to basically cook them all the way through to the consistency that you want them. Maybe like 30 seconds before, and then go ahead and take them off. That way, when you put them back in your meat, they don't overcook. Now, as soon as you take the onions out, you're going to put the meat in. You're going to leave all that good stuff in there, no rinsing it out, none of that. You should already know that if you're cooking with a cast iron anyhow. But since you're getting this meat from Kroger and it's already pretty shredded, as you can tell, you don't really have to do much. I usually just like to get in there with 2 forks and move it around, but let's get this seasoned up. I don't need anyone coming at me and telling me that's too much seasoning. You're only seasoning it on the one side because you want to get one side nice and seared and then start moving it around. So this has been in the pan for about 20, almost 30 seconds. I'm going to get in there with the forks and then start moving it around. That seasoning will mix in, and then you got to consider all the juices from the onions that we put back in and some of the fats that render down from the ribeye is going to make, a good mixture with the seasoning and the cheese. You'll see. All right. Now it's not all the way cooked through. And this is when we're going to add our onions back in. When it's almost done, but not all the way, we're going to add our onions right back in. The reason we're going back in with the onions before the meat is fully cooked is the same reason why we're taking the onions off about 30 seconds before they're all the way cooked. This is going to introduce some more steam. As you can see it coming off the pan, it's going to help the steak absorb that oniony flavor, considering that we've only seasoned with salt, pepper, garlic. And it's also going to create, like I said, that steam that's going to help us melt this cheese. So let's get this white American cheese put in, and we're almost finished. We're going to mix all that in. And now you got your cast iron full of your shredded ribeye, all cheesy with your onions. We're going to get our rolls ready, and I'll show you the build. All right, we got our lightly toasted hoagie roll here, and I actually like to take, you can hear that crunch, I actually like to take a little bit of the inside out just to fill more meat, so I'm going to do that really quick. Got some of that cheese whiz on the inside after I took some of the bread out. We're going to load this up with steak and drizzle it again, and it'll be ready. And cross section. That is going to be the best homemade cheesesteak you ever had.